Today we're going to learn how to draw plants. All you'll need for this is a sharp pencil sharpener, an eraser, and some paper. Plant, either an indoor plant or an outdoor plant if you're lucky enough to have some popping up, or you can have a photo of a plant. I'm going to use charcoal because it's a lot bolder, so you'll be able to see it through the camera here. The first thing to drawing anything is practicing your drawing technique and doing some drawing exercises, and this is good for all ages and getting ready to draw anything, really. One thing that you can do as a drawing exercise is to go through, one of my favorite things to do, is to go through and practice taking your pencil and drawing kind of as hard as you can, and then going lighter as you go until it's almost invisible. One thing you'll notice is that I'm not holding my pencil like this to make my lines. I'm holding my pencil like this off to the side to make my lines. And one reason I'm doing that is because it's a lot more gentle. So you'll see if I hold my pencil like this and I go like that, it's a lot bolder of a line. And if I hold it off to the side and make the line, it makes it a lot softer. And if I hold my hand a little farther up the barrel of the charcoal or the pencil, I'm able to lighten my hand a lot easier. And this is a lot easier too when you're sitting directly on a table. I'm drawing upright, so it's a little bit harder, but you're going to probably have your paper down in front of you on a table or on a book on your lap. But if you're able to just practice going back and forth and doing a whole bunch of these. Another way some people loosen up their hand is to go and draw lots and lots of circles. So if you just want to scribble, that's cool too. Just make sure that you're holding your pencil a little bit lighter, so that when you want to hold your pencil harder, you have control over it a little bit better. So after you've done your drawing exercises, now it's time to move into drawing your plant. Look at the plant that you're actually looking at and see what kind of leaf it has. Mine has a little bit more of a heart-shaped leaf than maybe other plants do. So I'm going to take my leaf and I'm going to draw what I think it looks like. And so now I kind of have a leaf, and it's not perfect, but that maybe it's a little off to the side or tilted a little bit. Maybe your leaf looks more like this. Or maybe you're drawing a fern, which looks more like this. So the main thing about all of these leaves is that they're going to be symmetrical right down the middle. So even though they might be a little off to the side and I might not have made it symmetrical in the first place, the thing I want to focus on is where the point is and where the bottom point is and where the top center might be. Now you can make it look 3D by making one side darker than the other, and so this is when our shading comes in. So I'm going to shade one side to make it look darker. So we have the basics of what a leaf looks like. Now we can move on to drawing the actual plant in front of us. So when you're drawing something in front of you that you can actually see, it's called still life. We can focus on doing it as realistic as we want, or we can be a little bit more free form and kind of decide based on how realistic we want it to look, how realistic to make it. I am looking at this plant from this angle. And so I'm just going to focus on putting a bunch of leaves in there from this angle. I'm going to draw almost exactly what I see, and then, but without the frills. So that's basically what I see in front of me. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pay attention to what real life is telling me. And I'm looking at where the shadow is hitting. I have light coming from this side on most of my leaves, so that means that any side that's facing towards me, a little bit more angled more towards me, is a little bit darker. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to use my shading technique and I'm going to shade. That is the basic shape of my plant. That's what I kind of see. I would like to go through and make it look even more detailed and add darker leaves in the background and really shade that in. Now I challenge you to make your leaves look even more 3D. For those of you who are older or those of you who are looking to learn more drawing technique, this is what you might want to learn. Focus really on what the leaves look like. So I have some pretty curly leaves. I don't know if you can see that, but from right here, there's this leaf has a curl right here, and then these leaves are at kind of a funky angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to really focus in on what they look like. And this might be where if you see veins in your leaves, you might want to add them in and make them look really shiny and pretty and stuff. Right now I'm just going to work on drawing this one weird shaped leaf. Also, I'm going to sharpen my pencil because when it's not sharp, it doesn't draw well. I'm going to take a sharp pencil and I'm going to go ahead and draw this leaf. I'm going to focus in on it, zoom in, and just focus on this one leaf. It has a curve, and it has a curve here, and then it kind of goes like this, and then it meets up with its stem. I'm going to find my center, and then I'm going to curve my center. I'm not going to just draw it straight like I might have been doing before. I'm going to curve it whichever way it actually is curved. It's important to always be looking at the plant. Looking from what you're drawing to back to what you're drawing. So looking at your pencil lines as you go and looking at whatever object it is that you're focusing on. So I can see that this has a bit of a leaf, a bit of a divot right there. And then I'm going to look at where my light spots are versus my dark spots. So this leaf kind of has a shadow right there and a shadow right there. And so I'm just mapping out my shadows now. And then I'm going to go in with my pencil and I'm going to shade it there. And maybe it's darker up here. And maybe it gets lighter right here. And my leaf also has a bit of a divot right there, so I'll draw that in. It's a little darker right here by the vein. Right here it kind of lightens up, so maybe I'll take my eraser and actually erase a little bit of that vein. And then I'll go in and it's a little bent right here on the edge of the leaf. So I'm going to really focus on that. It's also bent right here and right here. And then there's a little bit of a crease right here. Kind of darker under here, but it's also kind of light because of the way the light is hitting it. If I were to erase some of the light spots to give it back some of its shiny bits, I could also go through and use a piece of paper to do a little bit of blending. I do not suggest blending with your finger because the grease on your finger doesn't actually, your finger is greasy even if it doesn't look like it's greasy, and so it doesn't actually blend as well as you think it's going to. So a little bit of toilet paper or a little bit of paper towel, or a piece of paper, another piece of paper is a good way to blend. There's also things called blending stumps that you might have, and you should go ahead and use those. I'm going to use a piece of toilet paper. Even if you had a pencil or if you have a charcoal, you can still do a little bit of this. It doesn't always work as well. For example, charcoal, you kind of have to be pretty specific with it. I'm not very good with charcoal, so if I were doing this with a pencil, I'd be having a lot easier time making it look the way I want it to look. So now that you have one leaf done, you should go and draw the rest of them. The best thing about drawing plants is that nobody really could prove if it looked the way you thought it did, so this is just really good practice. But that means that I have the opportunity now to go through and basically imagine what I want the plant to look like, while also focusing on the curvature and the natural shapes of what I actually have in front of me. So now you draw yours and post it in the comments below. Thank you for joining, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!